to Deeply Disturbing Things,
the podcast.
I'm Macy.
And I'm Naomi.
And we're two anxious counselors who like to talk about deeply disturbing things.
Jump into the vortex with us.
Hey.
Hey. Cheers.
Cheers. We did our first VIP special Patreon.
Podbean patron only content.
Can I call it a Patreon?
You can. I just don't want them to get confused with Patreon, which is different.
How is that different?
It's a different monetization thing.
Okay, you can be our patron.
Podbean patron. It's only $1.
It's only $1. It helps us out with gas, with wine, with adapters that we constantly have to replace.
Bangs, trims.
Wires, bang trim. I do need one. Actually, I have an appointment scheduled tomorrow. How did you know?
I could tell.
It's that time.
As a fellow member of the Bang Gang, I know, I can sense it when it's time.
A benefit is that you get some more personal recordings of us. Like we just did one as we were setting up. That's a little bit more just
us being us
now with us.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's only $1. Check it out. Podbean patron.
Check it out. We're worth at least $1.
I agree. I mean, at least.
We are biased, but I'd pay $1 for us.
I might sign up.
I might too. It might make me feel better about it.
Me too.
Do you have any check-ins?
No.
Just a reminder.
Watch Brand New Cherry Flavor.
Yeah, watch that.
Because we're reviewing that next time. I'm ready.
I'm so ready.
I watched it all again.
I watched it twice, but now I want to go through again and take notes. So then I can have some notes. Okay.
Got the nuances.
Great. I'm excited for nuances.
You get to go first.
I do get to go first. I'm excited.
I'm going to have another dark chocolate covered watermelon stick.
They kind of gush in my mouth in a weird way. I just don't know how I feel about it.
That's why I like it.
The gush. I feel like it's missing a texture. I've been watching a lot of cooking shows lately. Like maybe like a crunchy exterior, like
maybe it
chocolate.
Needs, maybe there's to be a cookie shell around the watermelon and then dipped in chocolate.
I want a crisp. Yeah, I want a crisp to offset the goo.
Got it. I get that.
Great. All right, are you ready?
Yes. What do you got?
Okay. So, who's your favorite fairy?
Oh, let me think of the fairies I know. There's the Robin Williams fairy from Fern Gully.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Tinkerbell.
It's one of my favorite movies. Tinkerbell is the obvious choice.
From Nutcracker, the Sugar Plum Fairies.
Okay, I'm very impressed because I only thought of Tinkerbell off the top of my head. You've got 3. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably keep going. Why? Why?
Keep going.
Well,
do you have more?
I don't know. I'd have to think.
Okay, if you have more, let me know.
Okay, I'll pop in.
I'm curious about like just general knowledge about that, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about the deeply disturbing background of fairies.
I love fairies.
Yes.
Did you see? Oh my God, what's that called? Eurovision with Will Ferrell.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
It's super funny. I like it a lot.
I mean, that movie proves fairies are real.
Yeah, fairies exist. They're real. And they're little
houses.
Yes. Okay, so I was actually just amazed by how much history there are behind fairies. And so I'm going to share the dark side because that's what we do here.
We go to the dark side.
Are you ready? I'm so excited. Okay, I have so much information. I'm going to try to make it good.
Dark, dirty, and twisted.
Wow.
Underbelly of the world.
Of fairies.
We go there.
And
we shine a light on it.
Yeah. Butterflies, not so nice.
Not so
fairies,
beautiful.
Not so nice.
Not so cute.
All right. So a pamphlet circulated in 1696 told a story of a 19-year-old domestic servant named Anne Jeffries, who, while knitting in the garden, encountered 6 persons of a small stature, all clothed in green, which she called fairies. The story was written and published by Moses Pitt, a London-based printer and bookseller. Jeffries had been employed by Pitt's family, so this was dated back to 1645. The publication was part of his own personal reflections of a mysterious event that occurred during Jeffries' childhood. However, it is also indicative of a complex nature of fairy belief during the late 17th century. where political opinion started to divide between strict Christian orthodoxy and the increasing skepticism of the natural world.
To bring fairies into this too, people? Come on.
Right. So like
nothing sacred.
I was super amazed. I was like, oh, okay. Like there's some depth here to this Tinkerbell story. Here we go. So medieval fairies, so there are like fairies, depending on the time, were perceived in different ways. So medieval fairies were more mischievous, but lovable and occasionally unpredictable. Ooh, who knew? Medieval fairies. The fairies, though, of the 16th century were far more dangerous. So Protestant officials correlated the belief in fairies at the time with Malthusium and the devil.
Oh.
Yes. The Elizabethan preacher Edmund Bricknell argued in 1579 that the purpose of fairies and such other fancies was to cast off the spirit of grace, so that the devil will forever be the terror of our conscience.
Fairies and fancies.
Fairy fancies.
Are they always little? Are there ever
giant
fairies?
I'm gonna get into this.
Okay.
Don't you worry.
I won't be.
We just got a toe in the water.
Okay.
Just a toe.
We've just dipped a toe.
So Pitt described on meeting the fairies that Jeffries fell into a kind of convulsion-like fit. It left her so sick that she could not stand on her feet. The Protestant understanding that fairies could enter the mind to corrupt the soul was really prominent between the 16th and 17th century, drawing parallels between medieval folk tales and contemporary fears of the devil. Similar cases, such as the story of a convicted Scottish witch named Isabel Haldane, who was taken unwell after a visit from the fairy folk in 1623, were consistently reported in cheap prints. Later, in 1677, the Dr. John Webster diagnosed the cause of fairy-taken illnesses as ignorance, popery, and superstition. So this was actually something that was right around that time when women were being accused of witchcraft as well. So right around that time. Go ahead. I see you.
No, I was just thinking in my mind that I just think it's lovely that sort of that term witch has been reclaimed. And now it's like, yes, I am into all this stuff. Like and it's not
like the
a
word,
bad thing.
Like a coven is like a group of
all these terms that used to lead to somebody being burned at the stake or what have you are now reclaimed and like this used with a sense of pride and
so
belonging.
And in the 16th century it wasn't.
No.
Just to throw that out there. As a young unmarried woman, Jeffries was perceived as likely a victim of the devil due to her own vulnerability. So gender issues came up a lot during all of this, and especially in this tale. She recovered from her illness, suddenly acquired the ability to heal using potions and charms, reflecting the role of a medieval cunning woman, or aka a witch. She also, if you're cunning, you must be a witch. And if you're a bitch, you're definitely a witch.
That's like that word last time you used, comely. It's like, why is that necessary?
Comely. She's such a comely, intelligent woman.
I'm pretty sure cunning is not used as a compliment in this context.
No, you're saying her face looks like a loaf of bread. Got it. Okay.
No, for cunning. Cunning, not comely. Oh. I'm like, what?
No, sorry.
I was thinking of a fox face, and then you said loaf of bread, and like my brain, like
you were gone.
You jarred my brain.
I was going to go to my next point. So she refused to eat for a long period of time, and they said that instead she was fed by fairies from that harvest time to the next Christmas day with fairy bread. There's where I got bread.
Oh, fairy bread.
Which she also gave to young Pitt while he was in her care. The dependence on evil spirits and the use of magical charms was forbidden in the 17th century, both in secular and ecclesiastical.
Oh
my gosh, I'm so impressed. Yes, belief. I did not think you were going to just know that. As an act of witchcraft. So between 1572 and 1716, for example, there were at least 39 Scottish trials that specifically condemned the communication with fairies or fays as an act of, as an act of witchcraft. The punishment of which was cruel, ranging from flogging or banishment to execution.
That's severe.
Yes. I had no idea fairies were part of this at all, just by the way.
No.
BT dubs. Fairies were evil creatures. This is how they viewed them. With the capability to harm things. They had collusion with the devil, really a diabolical remnant of Catholic past. But they
fairies are diabolical.
Right. Did you
colluding with the devil?
Because when I think of Tinkerbell, my one and only reference I can pull up easily, she fits more of that like mischievous, like well-intended, but kind of clumsy in a way, but not bad.
Right, like an innocent bumbling,
but remember,
maybe a little mischievous,
but remember
not
when
evil.
She got mad, when she got jealous,
yeah,
she started acting mean, which means we can't assume fairies are all good.
And then she relied on the audience to bring her back to life,
which is just bullshit. We know that. Okay, so in the so they can apparently bring good fortune to those they encounter and have been known to bestow gifts of healing, food, and magic. So in the 1690s, when religion dominated and divided the political opinion, the pamphlet that he wrote about fairies can be seen as a reaction against increasing popularity of atheism and disbelief in the aftermath of their civil wars, 1642-51, and the Glorious Revolution, 1688. Pitt presents the case as evidence of the great and marvelous works of an interventionist God, emphasizing that Protestant doctrine of providence. As a result, the pamphlet challenges the hostile attitudes towards religion to suggest that fairies, miracles, and folktales still have an important place within skeptical society.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the historical background. Let's talk about the personality of these little fairies.
Okay. Let's get to know them.
So, 16th century fairies of folklore were vicious, vindictive, cruel, really embodying forces of nature. They were viewed often as like lesser deities, or even common, like almost like with like mythical gods, like that kind of idea of them. Often appearing as monstrous figures rather than the winged pixies that we associate.
Oh, so they were bigger.
Yes, and very different forms.
I mean, a giant fairy, I don't think it would be as cute.
No, and I'm going to describe some that you're going to be like, that's definitely not cute. So, fairies were believed to be spirits of the dead, survivors of long-lost tribes, guardians of nature, demons, or supernatural race that grew alongside humanity. The concepts often emerge, but in general, most fairies of folklore can be classified as spirits, either of the dead or of nature. As such, they were feared and revered in equal amounts. Fairies of folklore were blamed for mischief and ills ranging from vandalism, theft, murder, and kidnap. They would frequently be blamed for causing livestock to grow sick or die. They would lead travelers astray at night or lure men to their doom near ponds and rivers. And if sufficiently angered, they'd kill.
Why are men in Europe always being lured to their doom in ponds and rivers?
I think there's a lot of ponds. I mean, if we just go statistics, eventually you're going to drown in a pond.
It seems like it occurs way more often in Europe.
Throw in a pissed off
than in North America.
You're fucked. So not all fairies are like truly bad. Similar to portrayal in pop cultures, some like to interact with humans and even ask them to join in their activities. However, this is where we have to think, like, step back from our mode of thinking to more mythical gods, like who played with people almost to see interactions of how things would happen, but they weren't attached so much. Similar to that. So they could be really ignorant to the effect that they would have on people. So, or how they're changing something could impact the human world. So for example, when a human joined fairies in innocent activities like playing or dancing, sometimes it would become a perception of time. They would wind up playing for 100 years.
Oh. And
in some cases have strange afflictions in which the involved fairy may neither care or even be aware of it. So it's something that like their frivolity just doesn't have human attachment. So you could get caught in these kind of contingencies of being between two worlds.
Because you're playing a fairy game, right?
Right. It's like Hunger Games, but with fairies.
Treacherous.
So the motives behind it can be ambiguous. So you may not really understand why they're doing what they're doing, and it may be way bigger than you. So there's several distinct types. The most feared and malicious were the unseelie court, who would often attack and harass mortals without cause or reason. So I'm going to go over some specific ones here in a minute.
Okay.
So just to keep in mind, these were very amoral ones, and they were greatly feared and ruled in a manner like ancient gods. Vengeance and fear were their motivations. So
I might like these ones.
Fairies could kidnap women, children, or men as they saw fit, often replacing them with changelings. So we've talked about these briefly. I was trying to remember which topic changelings came up.
I don't think we talked about changelings.
It came up in something, because I sat and went through the whole list, because this right here made my brain go.
Was it Duppies?
Oh, that might be right.
Maybe it was.
Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit more now about changelings before I go into give a couple detailed examples of the bad fairies. Okay. So a changeling is historically referred to as an oaf. Is a human-like creature found in folklore throughout Europe. A changeling was believed to be a fairy that had been left in the place of a human stolen by fairies. So a changeling is typically identifiable via a number of traits. In Irish legend, a fairy child may appear sickly and will not grow in size like a normal child, and may have notable physical characteristics such as a beard or long teeth.
Watch out for those bearded fools.
Bearded baby fools. They may also display intelligence far beyond their apparent years, as well as possess uncanny insight.
So this kind of goes against our modern take on the word oaf, which is like clumsy oaf. Like, this seems different.
Yes. A common way that a changeling could identify itself is through displaying unusual behavior when it thinks it's alone, such as jumping about, dancing, or playing an instrument.
To be fair, I think many of us jump about when we're alone
and play an instrument. You're the first one I'd question it as being a changeling. So let's not get it twisted. So here's out of a folklorist D.L. Ashleyman, proposes in his essay called Changelings. A human child might be taken due to many factors, such as to act as a servant, the love of a human child, or for malice. Most often it was thought that fairies exchanged the children. In rare cases, the very elderly of the fairy people would be exchanged in the place of a human baby, so that the old fairy could live in comfort being coddled by its human parents.
Ew.
Isn't that kind of gross?
There's actually a real case like that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where they adopted, they thought it was like a 6-year-old girl.
Yeah, but it turned out
she was like 20 something.
Yeah.
And they were like giving her baths and stuff.
Yeah, that's odd. Yeah, so it's like this. That's exactly this. Yeah. So simple charms such as... I'm going to
take a second look at Stella. Look deep into her eyes.
Are you dancing and frolicking when I'm gone? Simple charms could... like an inverted coat or an open iron or scissors left where the child sleeps were thought to ward them off.
What? That just seems like a bad idea.
Right? Other measures included a constant watch over the child. So that's a depiction.
We do not advise leaving sharp objects around your baby.
Advise anything we talk about on this podcast.
No, we don't. Nothing we ever say should be considered advice.
Yeah, this is purely for entertainment purposes. A peasant's family substance frequently depended upon the productive labor of each member, and it was difficult during this, again, 16th century to provide for a person who was a drain on family resources. So the fact that a changeling's ravenous appetite is so frequently mentioned indicates that the parents of these unfortunate children for the 16th century saw in their continuing existence a threat to the sustenance of the family. Changeling tales support other historical evidence in suggesting that infanticide
Infanticide,
thank you, was frequently the solution selected. So
because your kid's hungry?
Well,
hungry?
So
I was a hungry kid.
So medical experts...
What if somebody had infanticided me?
So medical experts believe that some changeling tales actually developed out of that desire to explain deformed, developmentally disabled, or neurodivergent children.
And give parents an out.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's not my child.
To then leave
it's
the
a
child.
Changeling.
Yes. Among the diseases or disabilities with symptoms that match descriptions historically include spina bifida, cystic fibrosis, PKU, progeria. I don't know. Down syndrome, me neither. Homocystinuria, Williams syndrome, Hurler syndrome, Hunter syndrome, autism spectrum disorder, Prader-Willi syndrome, and cerebral palsy.
Just some of those involve beards.
No, none of them do actually. But again, a way to help families feel okay with that decision would be viewing it as otherworldly, not
right. It makes it like culturally acceptable
at that time
to kill your kid.
Which, if anyone's watched Outlander, we know it's not. She saves the baby, and everybody thinks she's a witch for it. It's true. Have you watched Outlander? Spoiler.
No, but I read the books.
Did you?
Yeah.
Are they?
They're soft porn.
Yeah, no, that's true. There's so much butt in it. I'm like, there's so much butt in it. So I was like, I feel embarrassed if someone comes in the room. Like, I didn't pick the scene. It just was on. It's been on for a while and it's still going. So
I'm not even watching it.
It's just
I'm folding laundry.
I'm looking at my phone. The greater incidence of birth defects in boys also correlates to the belief that male infants were more likely to be taken by fairies. Psychologist Stuart Weiss writes that modern parents have higher expectations of childbirth, and when children don't meet these expectations, parents sometimes find a different demon to blame. So this still exists today, or can exist today, with parents' expectations of having the perfect child. And I think that's common. And a lot of parents will often go through a grief and loss process of discovering that their child has some sort of disability of some kind. And that can be true, like if the child's deaf, if that child has a physical illness.
Or needs some reminders. Or doesn't love to do the dishes.
I mean, you're really broadening this.
Well, I'm just thinking of all the unrealistic expectations that parents have.
That's very true.
And
very complex instructions for developmental ages.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So this is my word of warning. Be cautious of your expectations, because these are what led people in the 16th, 17th century to kill their own babies and blame it on a demon. So,
well, I think even today it could lead to like child abuse.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So just kidding. Sorry, I have to back up. Okay. So,
and at times that it could lead to death.
Yes.
If the abuse gets too extreme.
I mean, this wasn't a PSA for that, but take it.
But we're going there.
Go there. So fairies can take adult humans too, just letting that be known, especially newly married and new mothers.
Oh.
Young adults were taken to marry fairies instead, while new mothers were often taken to nurse fairy babies. Often when an adult was taken instead of a child, an object such as a log was left in place of the stolen human.
A log.
Enchanted to look like the person.
But it's just a log.
It's just a log. It is. This object in place
You're not very affectionate anymore, honey. Oh, you're a log.
This object in place of the human would be seen to sicken and die, to be buried by the human family, while the living human was among the fairies. So Bridget Cleary is one of the most well-known cases of an adult thought to be a changeling by her family. And her husband actually killed her, attempting to force the fairies to return his real wife.
Ooh. I don't think you should do that with fairies.
No.
Log by Blammo.
So this also comes up with beauty norm expectations too for kids. So particular traits in the 16th century which evoked brightness, reflexivity, blonde hair, blue or silver eyes, were said to attract fairies, as they perhaps were the very precious traits.
Oh, so I would have been fine.
They didn't want you.
The fairies would not have come for me.
No, they would have ended up killing you, saying, "Where's my child?" Okay. Other folklore. Other folklore says that human milk is necessary for fairy children to survive.
Oh.
In these cases, either newborn human child, like they'd be switched with the fairy baby to be suckled by the human mother, or the human mother would be taken back to the fairy world to breastfeed the fairy babies. It is also thought that the human midwives were necessary to bring fairy babies into the world.
Wow.
Interesting, right? So in Scottish folklore, children might be replacements for fairy children in the Tith to Hell. This is a ballad by Ballad of Tam Lin. According to common Scottish myths, a child born with a caul, part of the amniotic membrane, across their face is a changeling and will soon die.
Oh, I think that's considered an omen in a lot of cultures.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it was really fascinating because like the concept of a changeling was across so many countries. I could have like pulled at least 15, 20 countries that specifically have changelings as part of their historical explanation of
which makes you wonder if there's some truth there.
Some stories tell of changelings who forget that they are not human and proceed to live a human life. Changelings who do not forget, however, in some stories return to their fairy family, possibly leaving the human family without any notice or warning. The human child that was taken may often stay with the fairy family forever. Feeling connected to the fate of the changeling, there are families who merely turn their changelings loose to the wilderness.
Oh.
There's just a lot of this that like reads to me of like, yeah, but where'd your wife go? Yeah, but why did you send your toddler into the forest alone at night by a river or a pond?
Do not be called to your death by a river or pond.
A lot of
fellas out there.
Yeah, but some folklorists believe that fairies were memories of inhabitants of various regions in Europe who had been driven into hiding by invaders. They held that changelings had actually occurred. The hiding people from the invaders would exchange their own sickly children for healthy children of the occupying invader.
Oh.
So, just an idea. Just an idea out there. So let's talk about the more aggressive types.
Oh.
All right. So these...
aggro fairies.
Yeah. Yes. These are ones who will quite happily snatch mortals away, often screaming in terror, forcing them to become the unwilling brides or servants. However, this works both ways. There were many tales of greedy and foolish mortals enslaving fairies in similar ways, going the other way too. So we're bad too. All right. So these next three that I'm going to go into detail about are so bad that even their very names are believed to bring bad luck.
So you're going to say it out loud?
I know, right? I already did multiple times because I was trying to pronounce it right. I'm already done for, so it doesn't really matter.
But now you're bringing it into my bedroom.
Bad luck in the bedroom. Didn't you just brag about that earlier? Something about something?
Well, if you want to know, you'll have to become our Podbean patron.
Oh, was it then? Okay. Yeah. See, look, I even forget. Okay. So the Black Anise, also known as the Black Agnes or Black Anna, it's been said, is a boogeyman type fairy figure in English folklore, often imagined as a blue-faced hag or witch with iron claws and a taste for human flesh, especially children.
Hag is another word I do not like.
I haven't heard that in a while, actually.
It's just so insulting.
I think I'd probably laugh if someone called me a hag. Like, I would have to probably props. I haven't heard it in a while. Like, it's
such a put down though.
But it's not like a normal thing that people say. Like, if you call me a hag, then I'm going to assume you're alone at home and don't socialize. Like, that's such an outdated word. I'm going to insult you for something else for calling you that. Okay. So they live in a cave in the countryside. They're said to be in the countryside of Leicestershire. Living in a cave in the Dane Hills within a great oak tree.
Oh.
At the entrance. She is said to venture out at night looking for unsuspecting children and lambs.
Oh, and lambs.
And then she tans their skin by hanging them. It gets dark. By tanning them on a tree before wearing them around her waist. She would reach inside of houses to snatch people. And legend has it that she used her iron claws to dig the cave outside of the side of a sandstone cliff, making herself a home, which is known as Black Agnes Bowers Clothes.
Hold on, though. She's just wearing the skins around her waist, so it's like a skirt.
Yeah.
She makes a skin skirt out of lamb and children's skins
that she has tanned. You picking fur off of your lamb is one of the most distracting things I've ever done.
I'm sorry, there is a cat hair on my lamp, and it's really bothering me.
Turn it.
Okay, no, I don't. It doesn't exist.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't breathe. All right.
I couldn't get it either.
I know. It was so frustrating.
I trimmed my nails today.
I kept watching and waiting
for me to get it.
And then I just wanted to slap your hand away or knock the lamp off the table.
Either would have been acceptable outcomes to my behavior.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, so okay.
Another reason having 3+ cats is a bad idea.
Right. The
cat hair is everywhere.
It's true. The legend led to parents warning their children that she would get them if they didn't behave. And she was also known to hide in the branches of her oak tree, waiting to leap down on suspected prey. So you'd always be like worried when she's like up above you.
I'm always worried about what's going to leap down from an oak tree on me anyway.
When she grinds her teeth, people could hear it from the town. I know. It's not the worst. I got children saying it. Giving them time to bolt their doors and keep away from the windows.
Good thing she ground her teeth ahead of time as a warning.
It is said that the cottages were purposely built with small windows so she could only get a single arm inside. When she howled, she could be heard over 5 miles away. And then the cottagers would fasten their skins across the window and place protective herbs above it to keep themselves safe. Mm-hmm. So, okay, that's that one. Ready for the next one?
Yes.
A second bad luck name.
Yeah.
The Nukkalevi is a mythical sea creature that turns into a horse-like demon when it ventures onto land. This has been seen kind of cross between this kind of fairy mythology fairy folkology and Norse mythology. So it's been kind of scattered around. Even Scotland's Northern Isles talk about this. The Nukkalevi's breath was thought to wilt crops and sicken livestock. And the creature was held responsible for droughts and epidemics on land, despite being mostly in the water. A unique and solitary creature, this creature possessed the extensive evil powers, being able to influence events throughout the whole islands. Islanders were terrified the creature would not speak its name without immediately saying a prayer. It was often found in the vicinity of the beach, but it would never come ashore if it was raining. I'm saying all these things in your room.
I'm wondering, is it like Handyman though, where you have to say it like 3 times?
Nope, just once.
Oh,
one then done. And I have no prayer. They didn't tell me the prayer.
And now I'm done.
So there's no tales to describe what form it takes when it's in the sea, but its appearance on land has been talked about in graphic detail. So one islander claimed to have survived a confrontation with the beast. So he reluctantly gave his account. He said that the Nukkalevi has a man's torso attached to a horse's back as if it were a rider. The male torso had no legs.
Wait, it's just stuck on the back of the horse.
But it's
not the head of the horse.
But its arms can reach the ground from its position on
those
top
are long
of
arms.
The equine body. I know, I don't like it. The legs of which have fin-like appendages. The torso has a large head, possibly as much as 3 feet long.
Oh, it lives in the water. That's right.
Right.
Like, wait a minute. How does it?
And then it comes out of the water. So the head apparently rolls back and forth.
Ew.
Right.
Lolling.
The monster described by Tammas had 2 heads, actually. The equine head had an enormous gaping mouth that exudes a pungent toxic vapor and a single giant eye like a burning red flame. a particularly gruesome detail is that the Knuckle V has no skin.
Oh.
Right.
Just keeps getting better.
You had an image and I want you to change it now. So
no, it's not furry.
So it's black blood courses through yellow veins, and the pale skin that's so you can see it. You can see the muscles underneath that are visible and pulsating.
Wait, it has 2 heads, you said. What's the other head?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Probably something similar.
Like a regular horse head?
I don't know. Maybe it's a lamb. I have no idea. I'm only given what I'm told. I can only say.
I just can't get over those really long arms.
No, I know I have this like just like dragging on the ground or something with some like little fins on the bottom. So the only entity able to control it is the Mither o' the Sea, an ancient spirit in Orcadian mythology who keeps the Knuckle V confined during summer months. So those months it doesn't come out.
Knuckle, like knuckles, like our knuckles.
Nuckelave.
I wonder if it's related to knuckle dragger.
Oh, like
because
that's a good idea. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You tell us, listeners.
All right, last one. Last bit
of
bad
how
luck.
we welcome feedback on our inaccuracies and flaws.
The Dullahan. Probably saying that wrong, but I tried. Also called, one's enough, is a type of mythological creature in Irish folklore. So he's depicted as a headless rider on a black horse. He carries his own head held high in his hand. Sounds familiar? Yeah.
Oh, I think I talked about this on something.
It is said to be the embodiment of the Celtic god Crumdub. No. The mouth is usually in a hideous grin that touches both sides of its head. And its eyes are constantly moving around so it can see the countryside even during
it was
dark
when I was
nights.
Talking about the history of Halloween.
Yes.
That's when there was a creature that was just like this.
It was really
that
interesting.
held its own head.
I kept thinking like somebody
Connections.
did a topic. Somebody did a topic.
Somebody
did it. I even went and read the list. I never read the list.
And it had to have been either me or you.
I didn't want to keep doing it. If it was someone already did and I just completely forgot, which is totally possible.
We're just connecting all the dots.
It was fun though. I went through the list. I was like, oh yeah, that. Oh yeah, I don't even remember that.
Isn't it a good list?
It's a great list.
Did you see the one with the clickable links?
So if you go to our website at deeplydisturbingthings.com, there is, and Naomi made this with her own. We do everything on our own, just by the way. Like
by our own blood, sweat, and tears.
So she made an Excel sheet of every single podcast we've ever done with the specific topics and the name, and she linked it so it'll take you right to that episode.
Right to it.
Bam.
Because I don't like extra clicking.
I don't even want to know how much time that took you to do. Because we have how many episodes now? What is this one? This is
149.
149. Yeah.
It's a lot.
With 2 topics per episode.
Yeah. So we have over 300 topics at this point.
Wow. That's awesome. Okay. Sorry.
Check out the spreadsheet.
All right. But yes, this is connections.
Connections.
So it's believed to use the spine of a human corpse as a whip.
Oh.
And its wagon is adorned with funeral objects. It has candles and skulls that light the way. The spokes of the wheels are made from thigh bones, and the wagon's covering is made from worm-chewed, pale or dried human skin.
I mean, it does sound kind of aesthetically pleasing. If you're going with that theme.
It was thoughtful with human parts.
Yeah.
Use all the parts. I'm watching a lot of cooking shows right now. Use the throwaways. It calls out the person's name, drawing away the soul of its victim, at which point the person immediately drops dead.
Oh.
So there are rumors that golden objects can actually force the Dullahan to disappear, just in case you needed to know it. And I found a little tiddly bit. It's a common name for a headless warrior, predominantly knights. In Japanese video games and anime, the influence from this has resulted in Japanese young adult media commonly portraying Dullahans, which with traits not associated with Irish folklore at all, but wearing like plate armor. So this kind of carried on and created its own thing that it isn't. Which is kind of tied to my last topic. Words are interesting how they change over time and the meaning associated.
Yes, for sure. That's definitely related to your last topic.
Yeah. So I mean, and now we're at a point where fairies have really been given a kinder look associated with nature and kindness.
Or they just frivolity. Clothes made out of like flower petals.
Yeah. They're very graceful.
Like an acorn hat.
Certainly not arms dragging across the ground with your child skirts.
Certainly not knuckle draggers.
No. And now the word fairy, if you were to ask most people, they would say Tinkerbell is probably there.
Something cutesy.
Known. Yeah.
It'd be more pixie like.
Right. So that's my research on fairies and like the like real history around it that tied in with the whole witchcraft era, which I had no idea that those things were like intertwined. And
it makes sense.
It does. Like I read it, I'm like, oh wow.
I think the churches really wanted to lump everything that was
together.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, it speaks to other, Scottish and Irish folklore too, where I think a lot of our stuff has been very either American or, British like type folklore, that sort of stuff. So this kind of speaks to that other side and how maybe politics and religion were also playing a role in these other cultures.
Oh, 100%. We're going to switch gears here.
I'm excited to switch gears. I kind of had an idea from your little hint earlier.
I know. I accidentally gave you a hint.
I already forgot what the hint was.
Okay. I won't remind you.
Yeah, no, don't.
Oh, no. You like those chocolates?
No, I'm just having one.
Okay.
There's nothing else here. This is mine.
Sorry.
Don't judge me. I still want them to have crispy bits.
Do you hear that train?
It's so loud.
That's my life.
I have a train too right by my house, but yours is like a bad noise. Mine sounds like
it sounds like something.
Mine sounds like a Harry Potter
dragging on the track.
Like there's definitely a rock in there.
There's a rock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do a whole series.
Oh god!
Because I started researching something.
That's the worst train noise. They're probably not even gonna be able to hear.
It sounds like a fairy grinding its teeth.
Mm.
Did you bring that into my room?
You have such big windows. It's going to fit his whole body in here.
Damn it.
Uh-huh.
So I started looking into something and I'm like, this is way more than one topic. So I'm going to do a series on ways we are controlled. This is part 1.
Fairies.
The psychology of shopping.
I got a whole episode right there. Done. Go ahead. Sorry.
Psychology of shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Neuromarketing. It's a new field.
Mm.
And it's the science of how companies get our subconscious minds to buy stuff.
Happens all the time.
So neuromarketing is neuroscience and marketing joining forces. So people that are into neuromarketing are neuroscientists. Like, you know how I put them on a pedestal. They're badass.
They are. I sucked off all the chocolate and now it's just like the gooey watermelon worm in my mouth. And
is it a worm?
No.
Does it turn into a worm? Oh, wow.
It did, didn't it?
It turned into a little clear reddish worm.
Sorry.
I like these.
I'm a child.
They're kind of gross, but I like them.
See, you admit it.
I know, but it's like good gross.
Is it a texture thing though, right? Like the flavor is actually pretty good. It's a texture.
It's like a texture.
It's like getting a caterpillar.
It's really gushy.
I'm eating a caterpillar.
It's like between instars.
If you're interesting, Trader Joe's dark chocolate watermelon sticks. Eat along with us.
It was I almost said it. I almost ruined it again.
Keep going.
I'll get back to that.
All right, go on.
There was an experiment at a wine store, and it found.
That was my favorite type.
If French music was playing, customers bought French wine 3-1.
I mean, it makes sense.
If German music was playing, customers bought German wine 3-1.
Mm.
When they were asked, over 90% of the shoppers said the music that was playing didn't influence their buying decisions at all.
Did they know that it was German music or like?
No,
is there a difference?
Yes, it's very different.
Okay, thank you.
A lot more accordion in the German music.
I'm all about that accordion.
A lot more. They're probably playing the chicken dance.
And that is also probably very insulting to accordion players. So
and Germans. Sorry, I know German music is about a lot more than the chicken dance.
I own an accordion and I play a little, and I know there's a lot more than the chicken dance, which probably wouldn't be my first reference, but that's fine. Go ahead.
We apologize for our ignorance to all of our German listeners.
We can just say like polka music.
They weren't aware at all of the influence of the music. According to neuroscientist and neuromarketing expert Terry Wu, neuroscience has shown that over 95%, so most of our decisions by far, are made unconsciously. Also, without emotions, our decision-making is impaired. So, as you know, we have our limbic system, our emotion brain. This is where love, compassion, optimism, anger, fear, guilt, anxiety, guilt, sadness, and more are all centered. People who have had strokes that affect this part of the brain have difficulty making decisions. So emotions are necessary for decision making.
Look, it's a gooey duck.
It's not squirting though.
No.
Oh, our Podbean patrons know. Every purchase involves decision making. Neuromarketing is the science of consumer decisions. Traditional marketing has not paid attention to consumers' unconscious experiences, and this has created many failed and costly marketing decisions.
Amazon must be great at this because
they are. Amazon created a 1/10 of a second faster speed improvement on their website, and that increased sales by 1.7 billion.
I do need a fast click. I'm not going to wait for a load screen. Are you kidding me?
We can't detect this difference consciously, but unconsciously we notice it. And that improved customer experience generated more sales.
Yeah, I think we talked about that before too, where like Amazon has the buy now button, and like that doesn't really do anything. Like you still have to like do a couple things with that.
No, you don't. It's bought.
Well,
I've done a lot of buy now shopping.
Yeah, my dad used my account, so I just switched them. But yes, so when you do that, they actually like they had court battles over that because they copyrighted the ability to create a one-click buy because that was so profitable for them.
It works for me all the time.
But
I'll forget I buy stuff and I'm like, what's this package in the mail?
Me too. Sometimes it's shameful. I'm like, oh gosh, I know whatever this is, I know I didn't need it.
There was an Amazon delivery right when you arrived.
And I felt shameful of being on your porch when he handed you your
and I'm like, what is this? Like it feels like a book. I didn't order a book. What is this? Google uses neuromarketing.
No surprise.
So check out a Google ad link. Like if you Google something, there's those ones that are ads. Google wants us to click on these links because every time we do, they make money. They researched whether a subtle change in the colors of these links could influence our clicking behavior. They studied 50 different shades of blue to find out which shade generated the most clicks.
Bastards.
When they adopted that color, their annual revenue increased by $200 million. This is the power of neuromarketing.
I can't be that on guard all the time. I just can't.
Neuromarketing uses factors outside our conscious awareness to control our purchasing behaviors. So there's reality, and then there's our perceived reality. And there's a gap in between, and neuromarketing capitalizes on this gap to control our behavior.
Kind of
because so much of it is unconscious.
Well, and I wonder if it's playing off of, we had a previous talk about left brain, right brain. It's maybe the right brain just running with it.
Could be. Damn right brain.
Gets in there when
spending I'm not my money.
Oops, right brain.
Oops, fairies, changelings, wasn't me.
Fairies.
One study looked at the sales of cookies in two different jars. One jar was filled to the top, and the other jar was kept almost empty. The cookies in the almost empty jar sold way more than the other cookies, even though they're the exact same cookies.
It's like this. I didn't want any when you first opened the bag, and then you started eating them, and then I had to eat the gooey worms.
Because I was enjoying it. Customers perceive the cookies with just a few left as more desirable. If something is wanted by more people, we tend to think it is good. Decisions create uncertainty, So decision making naturally creates uncertainty and stress. And we naturally
don't like decision making.
Well, yeah, because it creates this uncertainty and stress. So we feel safer following the decision made by the crowd. This is a natural bias in our brains.
Well, and they teach us over time to do that with like reviews and stars, and like they guide you to this idea. And I'm just ranting here. They guide you to this idea that is what you look at to get a good deal, to make sure you're not getting gypped,
to know what you're doing.
Yeah, it makes you feel informed.
we don't know what we're doing, right. And we don't like that. We want to know what we're doing.
When you're looking at something and then there's 150 at least different versions of it, and then they say, here, look at these ratings, look at these stars, look, we've ranked them for you. It's like, oh great, I'll just look at these top 3.
Exactly.
And it's already been narrowed, and one of them is Amazon.
We're being spoon-fed.
Sometimes I appreciate it.
Amazon uses this bias with their star rating, their bestseller ratings, and numbers of reviews. But the problem is a lot of products pay for reviews. Oh, yeah. So we can't even count on those as being legitimate.
No, sometimes I read them and I'm like, like this doesn't sound like a real person. Because even like you can tell a real person when they're just like, I like really love this, and they share like a thing about it or a picture of it. And it's like very good. Doesn't mean they weren't paid to do that. Don't get me wrong. Versus
like, I'm sure savvy companies are like learning how to make it seem like a legitimate review.
Well, remember that computer software, that AI software I showed you, where it like comes up with like descriptions and things? Like it exists. So there's definitely AI software out there to create the best responses.
I'm sure. Yes. We perceive all of this information on Amazon before we see the price. They've done so much studies on how to set up a product ad on their site. So we see the stars, we see all that, and then we see the price. So we're already mostly in.
Yeah, and you see the picture, the way that they do the photo too. I was thinking about this yesterday. Of like, it's really interesting because it's like just the product, that one picture, and like a very appealing. But there's just something about it that's like that like I don't have the anxiety that I do when I go in a store and I'm like, I don't really need this. And I was like anxiously put it back before I end up checking out. Like, I don't have that feeling. It feels safe. Nobody's looking at me. I can have as much as I want in my cart.
The false sense of security of online shopping.
I can shamelessly buy whatever I want and no one will judge me. But it's all being directed.
Your delivery person may.
He did look at you in a way.
No,
there was a look.
I told you I didn't like the way he was looking at me. I told you that.
And I didn't know fully what you meant because I was trying to avoid all eye contact per usual. And it felt weird because he started walking up the steps and I think he was going to hand it to me. And I'm like rang the doorbell like,
no, you kept pointing at me and backing away.
I know. I was
like, doing? You could just take it, Macy.
I don't know.
He didn't even say grab the package.
He didn't even say anything.
You made it way more awkward than it needed to be. You could have just grabbed the package. You were between me and him. You purposely like backed away while pointing at me.
I was having a lot of anxiety in that moment. I was like, I don't want him to. I'm like, I'm not the owner. Don't worry. I won't take someone else's package. I had a lot processing.
You're making it way more complicated than it needs to be. I'm like, Macy, just grab the fucking package.
Not mine, hers. No. It's not mine, I swear.
You made me come all the way out and down the steps. Why would
I take it? It's not mine. He saw me push the doorbell. Obviously, I'm not the owner of the home. Am I a robber? Does he tackle me? How does that work? Sorry,
as we said, we are two anxious counselors.
Oh, man.
So Amazon incorporates many neuromarketing techniques. So this is a new field, but is really quickly growing. Prince Guman and Matt Johnson wrote a book called Blind Sight. Guman? That might not be how you pronounce it.
I just like it.
It's a good book. I've read it. And it's about how companies, tailor their marketing to the human brain. We make a lot of our decisions subconsciously, and companies are really trying to capitalize on this. As we discussed in our split brain episode, we think we're the author of our decisions, but study after study shows we're totally irrational and unaware of the factors influencing our choices.
Oh my gosh, Amazon knows everything. I just got an ad for a fake plastic hand, And I've been like going back and forth about buying this fake plastic hand for $6.44.
Is it so you can stab it and make me think you're stabbing my hand?
Yes, it was. It was like I can do the real experiment.
You can do it.
But like again, it's always listening. It knows because it knows.
No, it's always
Why
listening.
is it giving me a plastic hand? Like, when is that ever relevant?
I have not been marketed a plastic hand until I just said that now, and now I will.
Let me know. I'm curious.
I'll let you know as soon as a plastic hand shows up in my feed.
I haven't bought it yet, but I've been really grappling with it. It's like my logic brain is like, no, Macy.
I used to have one in the garage. I think I got rid of it finally.
From like a Halloween thing or something. I just like, I'm like,
I used to fill the coffin with like different plastic body parts.
Oh, that makes sense.
Just to make it more fun.
By the way, she has a coffin.
By the way.
Because she's a vampire fairy. Clearly. Changeling.
Neuromarketing researchers study people's brains and really determine how we make our decisions. And our brains don't lie. Like our little itty bitty conscious brain tries to make sense of everything and rationalize things and give reasons, but it doesn't know what it's talking about.
It's just a little guy.
For example, when adults were asked how they felt about Cheetos, how do you feel about Cheetos?
I really like the idea of Cheetos. I'm going to intellectualize. I really like the idea of Cheetos.
No, this is that little tiny conscious brain at work right now.
They have a good little crunch. I like them. But I do often stop eating them very quickly after I get them, where I'm like, oh, this wasn't as good as I remember. I don't know, like
because of flavor. But you do buy them initially for some reason.
I mean, I don't buy Cheetos.
Okay. So adults were asked how they felt about Cheetos. Okay, I never think about Cheetos. So
I do prefer the fiery Cheetos, but then I always regret what they do to my insides.
So these adults in this study said they thought it was like a kid's snack. But it turned out people really got excited about getting their fingers messy with the orange powder.
It does, stains your fingers.
There was something subversive about getting the orange dust on people's fingers, and their brains really lit up when that was happening.
I think the same thing happens with cocaine.
So nobody was admitting it, but the brains don't lie. The brains were lighting up about this orange dust. People enjoyed it, even though they didn't think it was respectable to have your fingers orange.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Slight tangent. I watched a show on Vice last night that was about like this new drug that they were making that's like a combination of tons of drugs. And it's really, really dangerous and harmful for you and not really better than anything else, just more dangerous, but they made it pink. So it's like this pink powder. And because it's pink, everybody like it's the newest thing stuff. And everybody, because it's party scene type stuff, so they love the pink powder and they'll pay.
Why wouldn't you?
They'll like, I want the toxic stuff.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's the same. It's neuromarketing.
It's drugs. It's all drugs. It's Cheeto drugs. What's their tagline?
Frito-Lay took these findings and they built an entire ad campaign around this feeling of subversive pleasure with the orange fingers. Ew. And it was super financially successful.
People lick their fingers to get it off, right? And then their fingers
or wipe it on something. I think their ad campaign
that like rolling
showed somebody like wiping it on like white clothes.
That's like ASMR level stuff.
Subversive pleasure.
I'm looking at the Cheeto slogan. I don't know what it is.
More and more businesses are investing in neuromarketing research, and they use the information to get us, me and Macy and you, to buy more shit.
Damn, it works. So Cheeto slogans here: cheese that goes crunch.
Okay.
Hail Cheezar.
Cheezar.
And it ain't easy being cheesy. That's what I was trying to remember. Yeah.
I remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go into a brick and mortar store, stores purposefully attempt to wear us down.
Oh, yeah.
Because our brains have our two different systems. We have our fast, unconscious, automatic system, our emotion, downstairs brain. And then we have our other system, like our prefrontal cortex system. It's conscious, it deliberates, but it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of resources to run that part of the brain.
Gosh.
So the stores don't want you to use that system. They want you to be more system one oriented.
Is that why milk and eggs are in the back?
Probably. Fast, unconscious, automatic, emotional. And they get you into that state by wearing you down. By the time you get to the checkout stand, you're exhausted.
Totally.
So
I hate shopping.
When we're tired or hungry, we're more likely to go with the impulsive system one response.
Totally.
That's why at the end of your shopping trip, you're tempted with loads of things you don't need. So here we come back to our Trader Joe's dark chocolate watermelon sticks.
Watermelon slugs.
I 100% did not go to Trader Joe's seeking to purchase dark chocolate watermelon sticks.
That you then tried to sell to me as a good treat.
But these were right at the end of the checkout stand. Right there on display. And I looked at them and I was like, ooh, I like dark chocolate. I like watermelon. And I bought them.
So that makes me think of like grocery stores, because I have like 3 big main authors I really like, and they always have like 4 books up there. And Dean Koontz is my bro. If there's a new Dean Koontz book and they have it sitting there, I will grab it and I will buy 100% because I feel like I have to. It's right there. And I'm like, oh, like I'm almost leaving. I need to get it.
Everything by the check stand.
More expensive than if I just bought it online.
Yes. So those are the impulse buys, and they really tap into
trickery to my emotions.
Our part of the brain that is not going to be deliberating that decision purposefully.
I think we need to redo education altogether. Can we just like clean slate it? I mean, let's be real. What we have isn't applicable anymore. Can we please start over? I need to know about market economics. Neuromarketing. Yeah. I need to know about mental health. I need to know, like, there's so much shit that kids don't learn about that they need to know.
And maybe less about Columbus.
Who cares?
I mean, why do I know the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria by heart? Why is that the thing that I know the best? It's fucked up.
It's really bad.
Why? I should not know that.
No, you shouldn't. And honestly, like, how about having a class about, I'm just going to say it. We're so upset that there's school shootings and these kids who are maladjusted. But okay, how about having a class about social connection, making friends? How about just support schools' extracurriculars instead of cutting things like music and sports programs?
No, we don't put not nearly enough money into education in this country.
And teach them the things that we need to know to succeed instead of
teachers should be high income jobs.
100%.
Not something that you're suffering, but you do because you have passion.
Which is so sad. I have teacher friends and it's their passion drives that. I know counselors in a similar boat too, but it's like your passion only gets you so far, especially if you don't get to choose what you're teaching.
You can't eat passion.
But you can eat some dark chocolate watermelon sticks available to you by Trader Joe's in a shiny pink bag. I wonder if that's what got you.
Oh, it might have been.
It is like it is like shiny and it's kind
of would wear a jumpsuit made out of this material.
Yeah, it looks like clothes you would wear.
But I probably
and honestly
subconsciously noticed that, and I'm only now consciously seeing that.
And what's really interesting to me, knowing you, is that you're a very healthy person. You pay attention to what you eat. So
no, it's because it said watermelon. I'm like, oh, it's basically a fruit.
Well, remember when I said I took a bite and I expected it to just actually be watermelon?
Yeah.
But it's a gummy. If it said watermelon gummy candies, you would not have bought that.
No, I would not have bought that.
But Trader Joe's knows that they're marketing to a bunch of, hippies.
Pseudo health people.
AKA pseudo health people that would buy a dark chocolate watermelon stick.
Right, because that's totally different. In my mind,
yummy chocolate watermelon gummy.
No, in my mind, I was picturing a fresh slice of watermelon dipped in chocolate.
What I pictured too, because I trusted you. I trusted you as a peer rating it, and then I ate it. It was
sorry, it was clickbait.
I've eaten a bunch of candy now. And now I'm all hyped up.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. So
debatable.
I read this book Blindside a while back. I'll loan it to you if you want. It's really good.
Yeah.
I'm actually doing another topic about a different area of this book later. So we don't understand what price means.
No.
Our brains don't understand. We have to have a price in relation to another price.
Totally.
Fed to us so that we understand what we're paying for, what that means. Like human brains don't understand what $15 means.
Hey, remember when I made fun of people with electric bikes? Now I've been looking up electric bikes. And it is true. So this is the thing I know nothing about. So I've been comparing and watching videos and like trying to.
Are you getting a fucking electric bike? I will make fun of you, honestly.
I might. I don't know. I don't know. Now I'm going to second guess it. I'm going to be like, what are my actual motivations? Will I ever ride this electric bike? Or did I see an ad that's being influenced by Amazon? I don't know. I'm going to think about it now. Thanks.
See? Make sure you're in your top brain. If
I buy them and if I buy it and you make fun of me, I'm just going to make fun of you for watermelon dark chocolate sticks.
And I'm fine with that because Great. I'm making fun of myself.
That's fine.
So say you walk into a store and you just see a bottle of wine for $15. Mm-hmm. So our brains, through neuroscience, we know that we don't automatically know if this is a lot or not. So our brain starts to look for some context.
$69. This is a great price.
Exactly, because we need to be able to have context to make sense of the information.
I know. So I now look for screw caps.
We have to sample reality. So the store is going to give you reality to latch onto by placing a second bottle next to it that costs more. So now your brain thinks, well, in comparison, $15 is a good deal.
Trickery.
So you're going to be more likely to buy that. So our brains are constantly looking for anchors to create reality for us, because remember, there's that gap between actual external reality and our perceived reality, and this is where all the companies jump into that gap.
Yopes totally does that, because at the end of, if you notice, at the end of the aisle is where they have like,
I learned that's called a capstone or an end cap, something like that.
Something like a nightcap,
some kind of cap.
Which a nightcap is alcohol at the end of the night, right? It's something to
yes
ease the flow of whatever.
Ease us into dreamland,
right? Fairyland. But they do that, and I've seen that where it's like a fairly, what I would say, affordable thing. But again, I only know that because then they have the much higher price thing up here, right? Visible, and it's like, oh.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Research have shown time and time again that when we're given 3 price points, we're going to choose the middle one. Oh, yeah. And I always do that. I'm like, I don't want to be a cheap ass. That one's probably a pile of garbage, but I don't want to overpay for something that's, overhyped. I'm going to go with the middle.
And we do that
for good, but a good deal.
Gifts too, because we're like, well, I don't want to buy the cheap one, but I'm definitely not buying that
I don't like them that much.
I like them this much.
I like them middle.
I like the middle much.
Yep. And it doesn't matter what the product is, because they've done research where they take the product and put it at the bottom or the top. It's all, it goes on price point.
I mean,
we need that context to make meaning about our purchase.
Image based too. So I'm either all the way over here on image of like, if there's a really cool thing, go for it. Or if it's so minimal, but like medium range, I almost feel like I'm getting a deal on something classy. But I have to say, I've been to Italy and France, and while there, like, their wine is super affordable. And when I was in, was the last place I was in, when I was in Spain, their beer and wine is the same price as water. So it really amazed me, like this amazing wine that I had there, super cheap. That you come here and it's like labeled expensive because it's Italian. It's like, well,
that's an import.
But that's their table wine. Like that's what they just like keep pouring you to keep you eating their food.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't believe the labels.
Yeah. So we need context to know what a price means. We don't innately understand. Our brains don't understand what price means.
It understands very little, to be honest.
Very little.
You just point me in a direction.
In 1957, James Vickery claimed to have exposed moviegoers to brief messages about popcorn and Coca-Cola during a film.
Hearing about this, yeah.
And stated that it increased sales. It didn't. He later admitted that the experiment was fraudulent and that such subliminal advertising was ineffective. However, most countries have made subliminal marketing messages like this illegal. The US does not expressly forbid the use of subliminal messages in advertisements.
They all about it. I've seen it.
Though the use of subliminal messaging does fall under federal law enforcement jurisdiction. So that means they can be choosy about when they want to step in and when they don't.
That's always hard.
This takes me back to fracking.
Yeah.
Since subliminal messaging is questionable.
Say, fracking came up in a conversation. Okay, and here's the deal. As I was like,
what was the deal?
Well, it just like came up talking about like
connections.
Well, and I said something like I actually there was a podcast topic about it recently. I feel like I know much more about it now. And then the response was, well, yeah, and it's actually not as bad as everyone has brought it up to be. And I instantly went, why? And it was like, well, they just use water. And I was like, no, they don't. Actually, they get away with that with a loophole.
You felt like you're informed.
I was able to actually talk about it.
Oh my God, I love that.
I mean, it made people angry, but can I just say, like, it felt good to like, hold on here. And like,
you saw that lady lighting her faucet water on fire in her kitchen with a match.
I did. And I even referenced that, and the response was, well, that can come up for a variety of reasons. And then my response was,
it has never come up for me under any reason.
My response was, still not okay.
Not okay, ever.
Not okay. And I'll just say that if it was a fracking place got put right by my land, I would be livid. So I don't give a crap what you think about it. I think it's not okay.
Wait till you're personally impacted and then come back to the combo.
Right. I'm not making any money off this shit.
That's right.
Why would I care? Sorry.
No, I love that.
It's so hot in here.
Subliminal. And you notice I opened the window, but I didn't open the storm window, so it's not actually open.
I'm actually looking at that. I was wondering if that was because of my fairy topic of fitting your arm in.
No, it's just because I didn't.
Do you want to open? I feel like I'm gonna have a heat stroke in like oddly cool weather. It's cool, but it
hasn't gone.
Oh my God! You did something to the mic. Oh, you unplugged it. I fixed.
It hasn't. Oh, my poop box.
Oh yes, she's using her poop box, which. By the way, she still has, well, okay, wait.
No, it's second poop.
Sorry, second poop. They returned her other poop.
Okay, you explain that after.
They returned her other poop and said it was insufficient poop. Not quality-wise. They just said, not quantity-wise. She had plenty of poops to send. Sorry, she's in the bathroom right now as we talk about poops. So she sent plenty, but they said the quality was of poorness. So they sent back her poops. And she has a new box to poop in. And it looks like she's already pooped in it. And now she's using it as a window holder. So I hope that's a very strong box or we're going to have poop everywhere. And I hope the quality is better. I'm curious about what makes poor quality poops. Like, was it perhaps too much spicy food or like curry, perhaps? Maybe even like burritos, tacos, salsa. Spiciness maybe negates the quality of the poop. I'm not talking shit about your shit. She's yelling from the bathroom at me. I'm getting in trouble. Nuh-uh. Or perhaps she eats too healthy, where it's like, this is basically grass. You're a deer.
My fecal matter. I can hear you.
Did you hear
my poop is high quality. It wasn't a quality issue.
So no. It's either pause. I've already decided. It's either spicy foods or you eat too healthy and you're a deer.
I was not pooping pellets, if that's what you're wondering.
Pew 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 pew.
It's just I shipped it on a Sunday. You have to ship same day.
Oh, so you sent them like rotting.
It was too old. My poop was too old.
That's such a gross.
It has to be same day.
Like there's a line of medical excrement to you shit in a bag on their porch.
I went through a lot to
poor
send the
mailman.
original sample.
Could you imagine
No,
that?
no. Here's what I had to do. I had to put on a disguise.
Does it say poop box on there?
And you've seen the box. It says human sample or something on it.
It could be.
I had to hand
a dead baby.
I had to hand deliver this to UPS.
Just write fairy baby.
And I knew they knew what I knew, and it was a whole thing.
And they didn't want to touch it, did they? Did they put gloves on?
And now I have to do it again. I have to go through that whole thing again.
Sorry.
And they knew, because they're like, this isn't going to get shipped out till tomorrow. Is that okay? And I was like, yes, that's okay. Because I just wanted to get out of there.
That poor lady's like, I just want to get out of here. Fine.
So I just left, but apparently it wasn't okay. So now I have to go through that whole thing again.
Your poop melted.
Okay. Since subliminal messaging is questionable in the US, companies hide them in plain sight. For example, literally every watch ad, like an ad for watches, has the time set to 10 past 10 because it makes the watch look like it's smiling at you. These kinds of subtle hints are called primers.
I do know quite a bit about this side of it because I
want you to look at this ad for Benson and Hedges cigarettes from the 70s.
Okay.
Do you notice anything? And listeners, play along at home. Google 1970s Benson and Hedges cigarette ad and see what you see. So the tagline is, if you got crushed in the clinch with your soft pack, try our hard pack.
Okay. Well, first,
so already a little sexual.
Yeah, I mean, he's holding a woman. He's making the I have a boner face.
Okay. So what do you see?
What do I see?
Yeah. Because your subconscious mind is picking up something, but your conscious mind hasn't grasped it yet. But once your conscious mind really sees it, you're never going to be able to unsee it.
Is she a cigarette?
No. What is his left hand holding on her back?
I can't tell. Is it a cigarette?
No. What is his left hand holding on her back?
Oh, his left hand.
What is he grabbing with his hand and holding on her back right there? It's about 7 inches long.
Oh, is it a pack of cigarettes? Yeah.
No, it's a penis.
Wait, hold on.
Look right there.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a penis.
A penis is not a natural part of a woman's back.
No.
And now that you've seen the penis, can you ever unsee that penis?
No, he's definitely jacking off her back penis.
Yes.
Gross. And he's making the face of I'm touching it.
Yeah.
Which is weird for him to do. It seems like.
Well, it's like, I think it's supposed to be an extension of his peen.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm ready with my hard pack.
Yeah, I'm holding it.
So everybody look that up.
Gross. Yeah, look at his hand and then think penis and you'll see.
But it's interesting that you picked it up subconsciously before you saw it consciously.
Well, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, that's a full-on penis in an ad.
Yeah, he's like whole hand in that.
Yeah, whole hand in it.
Whole hand in that.
Whew.
Can I go get another?
Yeah, there's one of these in the fridge. Or if you want red on
the fridge. That's adorable.
On the counter, there's red.
Yeah, that's because
if you want more red on the counter, there's 2 choices.
Okay. I love having choices that don't have prices attached. You just say red or rainbow.
Red or rainbow. Rainbow in the fridge, red on the counter. Because people, please do not refrigerate your red wine. It's not okay. At least 70% of our purchase decisions are made in store. So we buy things we don't plan to buy, like dark chocolate watermelon sticks.
Is this why? Sorry, I'm back. Is this why wait. Okay. Is this why I put things in the cart and then I stress put them back because my logic brain's like,
yes, you're battling.
You don't actually need this. Put it back.
You're battling between upstairs and downstairs brain.
Right. No, I'm saying right brain, left brain. The true battle.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's always my bottom brain running things.
Let's get in the octagon. Consumers shop subconsciously going about our usual routine. So if we just go into a store, it's almost all unconscious, and retailers love this. Mm-hmm. They want us in unconscious brain mode because that's that impulsive, emotional brain mode. So they really work on controlling us subconsciously.
So they don't like it when we have that, like right now.
They don't like it when we have a shopping list.
The one thing I need is cat food.
Yeah, no, they don't like that.
They're going to try to get me to buy at least 10 things out of my one thing of cat food, which may plausibly happen.
How many times have you ever gone in for one thing and just left with one thing?
Only from Walgreens, because they're fairly expensive and I get upset.
No, I would agree with Walgreens or Rite Aid.
Yeah,
I'll just go in for my one thing.
It's something like I'm here and I need one thing and I'm leaving.
Yes.
But if I go into a grocery store, it's almost like because I'm here, I may as well.
Yeah. Oh, and malls are even worse. They're designed to be overstimulating and overwhelming. I
mean, ours are just sad.
Or sad.
Honestly, so they're not that overwhelming or stimulating to me. So I just avoid them in general.
The average time a consumer will spend to find an item on a shelf is 50 seconds. There's so much research behind this. After 50 seconds, if the consumer doesn't find it, they're going to walk away. So retailers do not want you to walk away. They want you to be able to find an item to buy. Mm-hmm. And I've been that way too, where I'm walking around, I'm like, fuck it. I'm leaving. I'm not buying the thing.
Do you know what will also amp that up for me? If someone else is in my near vicinity trying to
they're in your way.
Yeah, or they're like looking, like they're just like in the space, and I'm like, I can't. And then I'll leave, and odds are I'll forget about that one thing.
Yes, exactly. Exactly, because you didn't really need it.
I mean, the peanut butter seemed important at the time.
So say we want to purchase some dry shampoo because we don't shower all the time because it's bad for your hair. A typical big box supermarket or drugstore will have a whole aisle of shampoos, but maybe only 5 or 10% are dry shampoo. Yeah. So a consumer is not going to look at every single thing, right? We're not going to take the time. We need to be able to hone in on what we're looking for in that aisle. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So the stores need to determine how they want us as consumers to spend our 50 seconds before we're like done and we bounce.
Yeah.
So they work to get the right product in front of us, but they also need to guide us away from other products so our time isn't wasted. So the sooner we find our dry shampoo, what we want, the more likely we're going to also have the space to make other purchases. Mm-hmm. So studies show that if consumers find our product in less than the 50 seconds, like say it only takes us 20 seconds to find our dry shampoo, we're going to use that leftover 30 seconds to buy something else in the area. So stores place impulse buy products nearby. So like, I get my dry shampoo and then suddenly I'm like, I did need ponytails.
Do you know what this really reminds me of? So I'm thinking of Walgreens again here in this example, or Rite Aid, but like they have like your essential stuff, and they always have that like Burt's Bees section.
The damn Burt's Bees, because where you're like,
it's expensive, but there's some sort of like social thing that I feel like I should like.
Well, you feel like you're a healthy person, like contributing somehow.
Let me get this healthy one, but it's like the thing I wanted was right there. And I chose either I got that and then I bought something else, or I'm like, oh, look, it's only $1 more to get the healthy thing. Even though, like, really, how healthy, like, what does that mean? Even?
So considering your 50 seconds, that means you found the thing you're looking for in under 50 seconds. So you had a little leftover time to look around.
None of my time is left over.
Stores also use a technique called vertical blocking.
The up and down part.
Imagine you're trying to find me in a crowd of people. You're not going to hone in on every face. You're going to like scan faces, looking for certain features. Everything's going to really be a blur, but you're looking for certain features.
I'm 5'4". I'm not going to see you. Let's be real. So I don't even try that. I just like, hopefully she'll find me.
So psychology says people do the same when scanning shelves. We scan shelves up and down with a range that's at most 4 feet wide.
That makes sense.
So we don't scan back that. And so stores practice vertical blocking to align merchandise in 4 foot wide rectangles, but they also use our peripheral vision. So we sense objects about 30 degrees on either side, in addition to what's in front of us. So even though the displays don't move to alert our peripheral vision, our natural reaction is just to kind of keep turning our head slightly back and forth to the left and the right. And we'll scan until we hit a barrier that the store is intentionally put up.
The aisle, like the aisle's now there, or
it like switches to a completely different product or color or something. That's called bookending. So they control our scanning area.
Field of vision.
I feel so controlled.
I hate it.
I feel like I have a hand up my ass and I'm a puppet.
Well, and that's the thing, like, I think online shopping makes people feel like there's more freedom because there's more product, but that doesn't mean that you have more control.
No, absolutely.
You probably have less control of what you see. Yeah. And actually, just to reference our own podcast, right? Like, we discovered that about advertising. So you can advertise, and all that means is it puts your name in front of people's faces. More people who see you are more people who follow you, which makes sense.
It does make sense.
But when there's so many products out there, so many podcasts, like, that just is how it has to go. You have to either be in front of people or you don't get picked.
You have to use marketing. We're a slave to the grind. So stores purposely display items to get the products in our awareness, so we'll buy them. So they use the aisle end caps. Everything on an end cap sells well because not only is it easy to access, but it's already the perfect vertical block because it's the right width and uses our peripheral vision.
That's where, like, Lowe's or Home Depot, they tend to put their their sales on the end, which, you know, how much of a sale is that really? Like, are they just luring you into, here's the stuff we're trying to get rid of? But you may be paying similar prices anyways. It just looks appealing.
I feel like my cognitive powers and energies, I want them to be
astute,
geared towards things that are important to me.
Do we even know what that really means?
Well, I would not want them to be making cognitive maps of stores, which is what happens.
No, that's so true. Like, here's like, if I go to a different city and I go into a store that has a different, like, same store but different layout, that really throws me off. It
throws you, yes. We create cognitive maps of where we think things belong in a store. And it's usually based on a mixture of our actual experience at similar stores or some best guesses. So we expect all frozen food to be in one section. That would be called a natural grouping. So stores understand that we have these cognitive maps. So when they're going to introduce new products, they're going to consider that the product will fit in with a natural grouping and put it there. So it's a frozen food, they'll put it with frozen foods. It's the shampoo, they'll put it with other shampoos. But they may also consider that the product complements another item and create an adjacent grouping.
So that makes sense and it's annoying sometimes because often stores have, like, the milk, cheese, and eggs nearby each other, but other stores will have cheese aisle next to wine because cheese and wine.
That brings me to number 3. If a product fits into 2 natural groupings, it's placed in both locations. For example, do refried beans belong with the canned goods or the Mexican food section? So this is called dual positioning, and it'll garner sales from consumers with different cognitive maps. So I've found that at stores, like, there's a health section, but they'll also throw health stuff in sporadically, sprinkle it in throughout the store next to other items. So it can be difficult to find what I'm looking for. So some stores, like, we have Rosars and Huckleberries. Like, when they first started adding the Huckleberry section to Rosars, it was all one aisle. But then, so you just know, like, all your health shit's going to be in one aisle where they, like, made the floor look different. It's like a fake wood floor. Like, you're suddenly in this another land.
It's so natural. They have their own freezer.
Exactly. Yoke's does that too. Yes. But Fred Meyer puts the health food in the area of that item. They don't have a separate health area. Like, it's going to be in that spot, which I don't know which is better, to be honest.
I mean, it's something too, like Yolks has the kombucha spouts on the end.
Yes.
Like to be like, hello, people who drink kombucha, we're over here.
Come here.
We have your food down this row. I love kombucha and I'm making it, so
love it as well.
I'm not dissing, but you definitely got an aisle.
But it does attract you. It's like,
don't worry, there is a fast food, there is like a chip and cookie aisle too, so don't get me wrong. And don't get it twisted, I go to both.
So stores understand that we may need to rebuild our cognitive maps at times, but it can impact sales.
Yeah, I can imagine like when they do like new like layouts, like Fred Meyer did that once. And I don't think I went to Fred Meyer as much after that happened, actually, now that I think about it.
When they started putting the health stuff everywhere, sprinkling it in.
Well, maybe not since health, I don't think I can call that out specifically, but like growing up, it was always one layout. And then it was like young adulthood, they changed, like they moved things around. And I just honestly stopped going as much. Oh. I don't know if it's correlated. It just maybe, you know.
I love me a Fred Meyer's, but I think that's because I lived in Portland for a time.
And
that's the main store there.
It's the main store on the north side, so that's probably why too. Because by Colbert, that's like the big thing.
Colbert.
By Cattails, the zoological place for cats.
It's a place.
You can hear lions and tigers.
It's a place. So getting back to our dark chocolate watermelon sticks.
Okay, wait, I just need to know, did you intentionally bring those as part of this topic?
No.
Oh, I just shamed you publicly? I'm sorry.
No, after
tasty.
After I offered them to you, I realized like, oh, this totally ties into my topic.
No, and I love the fact that so we have kind of a deal. Do
we have a deal?
We do. No, you know of it. Don't worry. You're in the know that I drive out here and you buy the wine.
Yes, I feed and wine you.
For the transport and the gas. And I appreciate that because I don't have to go to the store and make a last minute decision.
Think about anything.
Because I overthink things and I will, and it's very stressful. So I appreciate that you take the subliminal messaging hit for me.
I take the hits.
You buy what we like, which is helpful.
So getting back to impulse buying. Why do we buy things we didn't plan to buy? So stores have this trick to get us to spend money, more money, because we've already got our cart full. And then we go to the checkout stand.
Costco is so bad for this.
And they want us to spend more money on things we don't actually need. So these are the things we did not go to the store for. Like I said, I did not go to Trader Joe's to get dark chocolate watermelon sticks. 100%.
With no real watermelon, believe it or not. Can I see that bag real quick, actually, before I make that statement?
Is there a real watermelon?
I'm curious.
There's a real watermelon picture on that shiny pink vinyl packaging. Yeah, you're having to look too far. Ingredients are right here.
Yeah, I know. I read that.
Is there watermelon?
Dark chocolate, sugar, unsweetened chocolate, cocoa butter, soy, lecithin, natural vanilla, milk fat, tapioca syrup, sugar, dextrose, fruit pectin, citric acid, natural flavors, trisodium, citric, contains milk and soy, may contain traces of egg.
I didn't hear the word watermelon in there.
Store it in a cool, dry place because that shit's gonna melt.
I did not
like your poops.
Hear the word watermelon. We stopped talking about my poops. My poops are just fine.
Quality poops. Hey,
I have high quality poops.
Dude, I had a GI issue for the last 2 years. I'm not one to talk about poop qualities, but I would like to say I'm cured magically. It's great.
Oh, that's great.
It's wonderful.
I don't know. My poops are no problem. I'm great with pooping. It was just a timing issue.
It would make me cry. It just went away.
I'm happy.
Spain. I went to Spain and then I came back.
Knock on wood. Continued healthy poops.
No, if you don't have healthy poops, like I feel you. It's rough.
But yeah,
I've never wanted to poop myself so bad to make the pain go away. Oh, wow. Like it's so that's a desperate place to be. I've got to say, let's just humanize and normalize that fact that people got poop problems sometimes.
Well, it's got to come out.
Well, but when it can't, then it's painful.
No, I know.
And then it does. And
I got really constipated when I was pregnant with my first child.
I'm so sorry. Go on.
Like really constipated. Like it'd been a while. And I went in and The midwife offered to put her finger up my butt to make it happen.
So like you're okay, yeah.
And I declined. I
mean, I gotta say, I've been at point because like with my GI issues, I was
too young and immature, and I'm like, no, thank you. I will just go home and suffer alone.
It would go between like where you're constipated and then you like, so the fact that you can't causes problems because you have to and you can't, and then that's where the pain comes from. And like it's so horrible, and I would love a woman to stick her finger in my butt if that made it better. I had tried laxatives, all those things, and laxatives are painful too, by the way. Like they're not fun to use, in case you were curious. They're not, but they sometimes work in a bind.
It's the bind.
I feel it's important that we talk about normal human things.
Well, yeah.
In the middle of your topic, go on.
No, it's great.
I like to sprinkle.
What was I talking about?
I don't know, poops.
No, I was not talking about poops. That's the thing.
I somehow brought it back to poops.
You always, it's because we have a giant poop box in front of us in the window.
Talk about subliminal messaging.
I know, you can't
sitting directly across from your poop box. You can't
get my Cologuard box out of your mind.
I've pictured your poop in it already. It's happened. It happened
that
like
is
20
an
minutes
unopened
ago.
box.
Oh, that's the new one?
What, you think my shit is just sitting in the room on the window? I mentioned
while you were in the bathroom that I hope it's a strong box so it didn't squish the poop out.
No, today is Sunday. I'm not going to make the mistake of pooping on Sunday again.
Don't poop on Sundays.
That's what I did before.
Don't follow our advice. We already covered that earlier.
And it's not a good plan. I'm going to poop tomorrow on Monday.
I mean, in addition to hopefully the poops that you had today.
Well,
just for your wellness.
I mean, the ones that I will be gathering.
I care about you. Gather them.
The poops of import.
Important poops. Wait, pause. Does it matter what you eat that day? Because I was talking about that. So.
Well, they said they don't want diarrhea poops.
So no spicy foods. Yes. And
they don't want period poops.
Oh. Well, that's probably just because they're grossed out. Like,
no, I think it interferes.
Oh, because they want to make sure that
they want pure poops.
If you have blood in your stool, that's different.
Yes.
Than happening to get blood on your stool.
Yeah.
You're welcome, everybody. Sorry, Dad.
Stools.
Okay. That's like a toadstool with fairies. Everything's
connected. A 2016 survey of 1,500 people showed those who said they were likely
listening to us. You're a trooper. You're an all-star.
You're an in-star, actually.
In-star. I thought I got it right.
You did not. We're likely to spend a hypothetical windfall of money impulsively or reported higher levels of other impulsive behavior like binge drinking or unprotected sex.
I mean, I definitely don't do those things. I mean, other than at the podcast I drink.
It's not the same as binge drinking. This is like when you're on a bender for several days.
You rationalize it the same way I do.
Why are you making
a smiling face with the cable of my cord?
Why are you making a beard with the cable of your cord?
Smiling face. I was trying like the grin of from ear to ear. The grin.
Okay, but it's under your chin, so it looks like a beard.
Because it's the only way it'd hold up. Get your imagination on point.
You like to snap at me during this thing.
It's been today. I don't know why.
No, you did last time too.
Did I?
Yeah, when you thought I wasn't on track, and then I had to call your shit for not being on track during my topic.
Okay.
When you brought it to exploding mule deer, which is nothing I was talking about.
I'm going to apologize for snapping. This brings me back to early childhood when I snapped at my sister once. And she thought it was very rude and mean, and I had to apologize. So I'm sorry.
Is that when she killed your hamster?
It's all making sense.
It's all making sense.
I'm so sorry I snapped it.
There is a battle. Not today. There's a battle going on in parts of your brain, Macy.
This is what you get for going second. Don't even act like it's about me.
The primary reward drives of our brain are battling with the part of the brain which is calculating the price. So think of the pain of the price. Like right now, everybody's talking about the pain at the pumps.
Yes.
But actually, the part of the brain that is involved in calculating price experiences pain, like actual physical pain. It's the same
like the
brain experience that's involved in real physical pain and also experiencing horrible smells.
That makes sense.
People are thought to exist on a spectrum of how much pain they get from paying. On the one end are spendthrifts. Spendthrifts don't really feel that pain when they spend money.
That's not me.
They don't mind spending extra money if they've got it.
Nope, not me.
On the other end of the spectrum are the tightwads.
We call them Macy.
They will wait until the last minute to pull out their wallets, even to pay for something they need. These people may experience the pain of paying physically with actual physical symptoms like increased body temperature and sweating.
I love this idea. I would like to say, so I think that I definitely fit in this category, but under certain circumstances.
What's the spectrum?
Yeah, to me, it's like if I can like equate it to being for somebody or something else outside of myself, that's not painful. But if it's about me, it feels selfish. Then
you sweat more.
Yeah, the social norms, F you social norms, ruining my buying experiences.
I hate social norms. Normal is boring.
Normal's boring, and I still buy stuff.
And I still go to Starbucks.
Me too.
Spendthrifts are more likely to spend their money, even if they don't have money to spend. Studies have found those at the spendthrift end of the spectrum had more credit card debt.
Yeah, don't do that.
Tightwads are more vulnerable to tricks to get them to spend their money, however.
Probably true.
So they feel the pain of spending more intensely, so they're going to be on board for anything that's going to make them feel that pain less.
Mm-hmm.
Ploys to reduce the pain of spending don't work well on spendthrifts.
Mm-hmm.
For example, individuals were asked if they were willing to pay a $5 fee to get overnight delivery on a new purchase. When the word quote unquote small was placed before the $5 fee, so a small $5 fee, the tightwads felt more better about spending that price.
I feel more better about that too, actually. And I think I've actually had that before where I'm like, maybe I'll pay that. Like,
because it's small.
It's small. It's only $5. I've paid for other things that are $5. I've bought coffees for $5.
But this change in wording did not affect the spendthrifts.
Because they'll spend that money anyways. They don't care.
They're not. These tricks don't work on them.
Well, but I wonder if it's like how much is coming in. Like if they're being
if they have the money to spend equally on both groups.
Okay.
It's just like who feels the pain of spending more.
Mm-hmm.
Spendthrifts don't feel the pain. Tightwads feel that pain.
Can we have a bet? I like the word spendthrifts. I don't like the word tightwads.
I did not name these.
Because tightwads is like.
Do you want to rebrand them?
Please. I feel like it's
what do you want?
Very stigmatizing, and I don't enjoy it because it's about me personally.
What would you like to recall them?
Reclaim it. What was the other one?
Spendthrifts.
Are you pouring my drink into your drink right now?
Well, there's not another one.
Are you spendthrifting my drink?
I'm spendthrifting your drink.
My tightwad self didn't like that at all.
I think I'm a spendthrift.
I think so. I feel violated.
You didn't even buy these. I did, so it's okay.
It's mine by opening.
So what do we call a tightwad instead?
I want something like that's more like understanding of the position. Like I think a spendthrift means like
miser.
I'm thrifty.
Do you like miser better?
What's a miser mean?
It's like a tightwad.
No, then I don't. How about
you don't know what a miser is?
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to think about this. I don't know.
Okay. Watch Ghosts of Christmas Past and then come back to the table.
Wait, what? Why?
Because one of the characters is a miser.
Oh,
one of the ghosts.
Did you know my dad did theater back in the day?
Did he play a miser?
No, he played
Ebenezer Scrooge, that's the name.
I don't like any of these.
So you don't want to be labeled a Scrooge either?
No, because I think all of those have like
What's
this
wrong
connotation
with the word Scrooge?
that it's bad, that you're like a morally bad person.
Scrooge sounds fun.
No, because that and a tightwad means that like you're morally, like it sounds like you morally don't like you care more about money is what it sounds like. And
see,
I don't
this
think that's
is all
true.
Defensive.
No, but wait.
But let me go to the other end, though, to spendthrift. That makes it sound like just gates are wide open, fucking yard sale. I don't like that either.
I mean, to me though, like thrifty,
bleeding at the pump without a band-aid.
I don't think so. Thrifty to me, like
no, it's spendthrift.
Spendthrift. Okay, let's do both. I'm not going to argue that. I
don't enjoy spendthrift.
Because the word thrifty makes me think of thrift stores, which thinks of like...
Yeah, there's
a connotation there.
Connotation in either end.
Okay, can we just sit with this and think about
Let's rebrand both ends of the spectrum.
We talked about rebranding last time. I think it's important. Let's think about the words we use and how we use them.
Words matter.
The podcast
even if you can't pronounce them correctly, they matter.
You know what? Like, give us a break.
Also, we really thrive.
I'm gonna think about this
when people point out our flaws and inaccuracies.
I don't.
That's how we grow.
First, and I don't because I'm a type.
No, I want it.
I don't want it.
Give it to me.
I want to live in a hole, and
you want to live in a bubble.
If you would rather not,
I think bubbles have purpose.
That's fine.
There's a benefit of a bubble at times.
I'm the bubble, and you're the spendthrift on the outside.
Poking the bubble.
No, you just come into my bubble and let me know what's going on outside so I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm. I turned it dark.
Sad. Sounds sad, like the malls here.
So here's some tips and tricks.
Tell me.
Paying in cash slows down spending.
I was thinking, yeah, absolutely, because the card it's not real money, right?
Sleeping on a purchase helps to see if you really want it later. So if you are still wanting it, in a couple days,
I still want you can go back and get tomorrow.
it. Yeah. And use a shopping list and don't stray from your shopping list. So really, ultimately, knowing how our brains work is going to help us make better decisions.
I have some synonyms for spendthrift.
Oh,
here we go.
Tell.
Improvident.
Ooh. Sounds like you're a whore.
Myopic. Sounds like an
Sounds like you can't see well.
Short-sighted.
Again, can't see well.
It's a Merriam-Webster. Big-hearted.
Oh, yeah.
Bountiful, charitable, free-handed, free-hearted, generous.
Ooh, I don't like free-handed.
No. Generous, lavish.
What are we doing with that other hand? I want my hands under control.
Unstinting, careless, heedless, and prudent. These sound just as stigmatizing.
See, that's what I mean.
Indulgent, reckless. This is literally the synonym.
Exactly, reckless.
Reckless, self-indulgent, splurging, wanton.
Wanton.
Okay. All right.
That is me in a fucking nutshell.
Now I'm gonna look
wanton.
This up. Okay. Tightwad. I'm looking it up.
Which also feels a little racist.
It does. It really does. I don't know what I wouldn't know that wonton meant anything other than something I ate.
Wonton soup. What the fuck does that mean? What is happening right now?
This is Merriam-Webster.
Are we uncovering some shit?
Merriam-Webster dictionary right here. Okay. Here's tightwad. Okay. A mean grasping. Why did your door just open?
I don't think you shut it thoroughly before.
Okay.
Or or you brought those fucking dark fairies into my house.
It's been literally closed for a whole hour. What is
Black
that?
Anise.
The names.
Knuckle
Words matter.
dragger.
Words matter. Words matter. Okay, so this says a tightwad is a mean, grasping person who's usually stingy with money.
Oh, because you hold your money in a tight wad.
If you're always, sorry, there's a cat ad. If you're always such a
we talked about cats a lot today.
So a concept is if you're always such a tightwad when charity comes calling. So basically, like if somebody wants something for free, you're saying no. Synonyms: cheapskate, churl, hunks, a measer. What was that word?
Miser. Measer.
There's a word I will not say. Penny pincher.
Oh,
piker,
that's racist for sure.
Scrooge and a skinflint.
Scrooge comes in. Ooh, skinflint.
See? A hoarder, pack rat, saver. Okay,
let's stop labeling people.
Because these labels feel bad.
They feel so bad.
Yours was racist. Mine is racist and rude.
I'm basically a horse soup.
And I brought ghosts into your house. Spirits.
Oh my
God. Natural spirits. Horse knuckle draggers.
Thank you, Podbean patrons. For only $1, you can get exclusive access to our
what a weird plug
pre-podcast shit. Listen to our last episode.
Get access to Naomi's pre-shits before they get sent out.
Before, yes, when they're fresh
and not.
If you haven't yet, our last episode was on fracking and Sweet Fanny Adams. True. Watch Brand New Cherry Flavor because we're reviewing it next time.
Yes, and until next time,
don't shop without a list.
Fair. And until next time, Tinkerbell maybe eventually.